Well, everyone in the NHL can say they are shocked to not see the Pittsburgh Penguins at least fighting for a playoff spot as they went out this last offseason, got Erik Karlsson. Yes, injuries have been a key, but the topping on the cake was the Jake Getsel trade, and just the last few games here that Pittsburgh's played, it seems like the team is done. Like Crosby even making comments, we don't hear from Crosby. Malkin underperforming, Chris Letang doing whatever he wants. He doesn't care anymore. And this Pittsburgh Penguins team is just kind of going downhill faster than you can say, holy cow, what's happening? But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, like anything NHL related, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are only 257 away from our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for all the support. Now, like you can see in the title, is this maybe the end of an era? Is it going to be the situation where it's like Patty Kane, where both teams mutually agreed to complete a trade because Patty Kane didn't want to stay through a rebuild with Chicago. He wanted to go chase one more Stanley Cup. Or is the loyalty of Sidney Crosby going to be the reason why he sticks it out with the Pittsburgh Penguins? Now, talking about this, it is all hypothetical until it actually happens. But with Crosby's contract coming up at the end of next season, is there realistically a trade option for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Kyle Dubas to move Crosby out of town? Yes, him and Malkin have no trade clauses, but with recent reports, interviews, they are not happy with recent games. They just lost yesterday 4-0 to the Edmonton Oilers, lost to them 6-1 a week ago from yesterday. They lost to the Caps, I believe it was 6-0. And then the Boston Bruins game, I'm not too sure what that score was. But you could tell this could be the end of an era. Yes, with aging in the NHL does come with, this type of stuff. But Crosby can still produce in the NHL. He's showing it this year. As we'll pull up his stats here quickly for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's having a great year, considering he lost Brian Rust to injury, Jake Getsel to injury and trade, which I don't know why they would try and get Michael Bunting out of this deal, but it's just Kyle Dubas liking Michael Bunting, I guess. As Crosby this season, just pulling it up here, has 64 points in 63 games, 32 goals, 32 assists, and is a +5. He is the type of player any team could go after that's willing to give up the picks and stuff. Sorry, I just got some heartburn here. As he only carries a $8.7 million cap hit. That is really good for Sidney Crosby and a team to take that on. You could see maybe the Colorado Avalanche, him waiving his no trade clause to go be with his friend in McKinnon. You could see a Crosby trade happening because as of right now, it doesn't look like he's happy to be in Pittsburgh, especially with how the last few seasons have gone. Chris Letang doesn't look happy. Evgeny Malkin has slid off a bit in his production. Of course, like I said, age does come with the territory in the NHL, but even looking at Malkin Stats, who carries a $6.1 million cap hit from till the end of 25-26 season, he only has 48 points this season. He doesn't even have 20 goals yet in 63 games. That is not Evgeny Malkin. He is considered to be one of their better leaders. And when you have leaders that are upset with the way management handled things, trading a guy like Jake Getsel, who Jake Getsel was the heart and soul of this Pittsburgh Penguins team when Crosby was injured, when Malkin was injured. When those guys were out, Jake Getsel put the team on his back. That guy, removing a key piece to a team like that, has serious consequences on the morale of the team. Now, like I said, they don't look happy there. The whole question about how Crosby felt about the trade or whatever it was, he didn't even want to answer. It doesn't even look like he wants to play anymore because you just took a key piece of that team. You're basically saying, hey, we're going to do whatever we can, but you didn't get any of Carolina's top prospects. You got Michael Bunting. Out of everyone you could have got from Carolina, Kyle Dubas decided, hey, I like Michael Bunting because I had him in Toronto. Kyle Dubas doesn't know what he's doing with this Pittsburgh team. It's not like Toronto where, it was already pre-built and they were moving upwards in a sense. Pittsburgh's declining. I do see teams reaching out and seeing if Crosby, Malkin, maybe Chris Letang, seeing if they're available because, like I said, they don't look happy. They look mad out there. You see Crosby doing things Crosby normally doesn't do on the ice. And it's just one of those things where what can we get for Sidney Crosby at what point? And right now at $8.7 million for at least another 2 years. I think it ends at the 24-25 season, so after next season. So a year. What can you get? And realistically, you could get a couple firsts, you could get a couple prospects, a roster player to help you. Any team would be willing to pay for Sidney Crosby for 1 year of service. Now, Malkin, on the other hand, Gino, he probably wouldn't bring in as much as the return of Sidney Crosby just because of the whole point production and age, but you could still get a hefty return on Malkin and Letang as well. So maybe that's an av that, the Pittsburgh Penguins kind of think about is what's the future of the Pittsburgh Penguins, even if it is after next season. That's something Kyle Dubas has to look at. And don't get me wrong, the loyalty of Sidney Crosby to Mario Lemieux to the Pittsburgh Penguins is strong. But just because loyalty doesn't mean he is happy, right? So that's something to look into. We'll see what happens because these two guys could be on the move eventually if things don't turn around. And then that first round pick is top 10 protected if Pittsburgh wants in the Erik Karlsson deal. But this draft isn't the greatest. You're not going to find someone that's going to help you right now. So that's something that Pittsburgh has to deal with too. But that's it for me today. Let me know if you think this might happen because honestly, they don't look happy. Their point production's going down. Well, not really Crosby's, but look at Letang. Gave it up to McDavid yesterday, 68 seconds in. McDavid scores off of pretty much a perfect pass by Chris Letang. But hey, let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is Gillis TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.